To show you how to use ChatGPT to do budgeting, finance, and analyze your spending. The thing about ChatGPT is it will do all this if you simply load a bank statement into it. You don't need a Microsoft Excel. You don't need a programmer. You don't need a financial analyst. I've even done my tax return with ChatGPT. So basically, you just need some kind of budgeting software. I want to show you how to use ChatGPT to analyze your budget. The idea basically is, okay, you can't really download your bank statement and analyze your budget because you need something that has categories attached to it. So you need some kind of budgeting software. It can be very simple. A lot of Americans use Quicken. I use Actual Budget because Quicken doesn't do euros and connect to different banks around the world. It's very much only for dollars, only for Americans. So anyway, with ChatGPT, you'll find out that you do not need Microsoft Excel. You do not need a financial analyst. You don't need Google Sheets. You don't need to write any program code. You just you download your data, your transactions from whatever accounts you want to look at into ChatGPT, and then it will automatically, well, you can ask questions of it. So for example, you can ask it, how much do you spending per month? You can ask it, how much did you spend last year? I'll show you that you can do a cash flow analysis, like to figure out where's all my money gone. Well, it will figure that out for you. So let's get started with that.
I will use actual budget here, and there's not a lot of reports. Like if I look at this, first of all, it says available funds minus 232,000 euros. That's just because I recently transitioned to it, and so it didn't start at time zero, and obviously I don't owe a quarter million euros. So anyway, what reports does it have? It doesn't have many reports. It has a few, but it requires a little skill to make these. And even if you put the data into Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets, that takes a little skill. So the better approach would be to do this. Okay, so I have three accounts here. I have credit card, Chase, Wells Fargo, Alpha Bank. I don't use my credit card because you can get into debt. So Wells Fargo I only use to receive my American Social Security here to my Alpha Bank account, and then I should be able to export these transactions. Where's the export button? Export. I'm just going to export all of them. And if you take a look at that now, I click on this. I'm using the Mac, so it'll open it up in the Mac, what's it called? Numbers. They call it spreadsheet numbers. So it's got here the dates and then the amounts. It's got categories because what any budgeting software should do is add categories, and then you write some rules too. So books, newspapers, bank fees, education, coffee shops, etc. Here's one that's uncategorized because you don't always remember what did I spend here. I don't even remember this company. You can look on the internet, try to figure out who that is, but so anyway, let's now close this. Okay, so I'm going to open up Perplexity. Now I have Perplexity desktop. I've had some problems with it, so I like to use Perplexity browser. I say problems because occasionally it freezes up, and then it also doesn't let me download things often. Let's try both, see what happens. Okay, so let's take a look at my spending. So here is a CSV file. Load this, and then I will ask you some questions. Now, what is a CSV file? It's called comma separated values. On my Mac, if I go to the downloads folder, there it is. I could open it with a text editor, text edit. See, it just says it's put in a very simple format. The first row is the titles, the column headings, count, date, payee, category, and then below it is the data. There's some things I don't need. I don't need cleared, for example, versus cleared versus pending. Okay, because I'm not interested in that. Okay, so take a look at this. See what the oldest data is. I have data going back to 2021. It's kind of good because I can ask it questions of year over year trends. Okay, click this button. So it's now reading that file. The thing about ChatGPT is it does analysis for you. You don't have to write any computer code. You don't have to use Excel and make pivot tables and things like this. Okay, so let's basically say here, uh, okay, in we saw that I loaded into December data. Oh, that doesn't matter. I put it in the wrong account. Let's see here. Take a look. Take a look at year to date spending and group by and show me how much I spent on each category. Now think about this. What this is going to do, okay, it understands that spend is negative number, positive number is income. It knows what today's date is. It knows to look at this data says, oh, there's a column called category. Then it knows how to do what beforehand you needed a programmer to do, which was to group data. The pie chart breaks down your data into percentages. So you can see what percentage you spent on your housing expense, your children's education, so forth. Generated chart. Let's just do copy link. Okay, let's go to Chrome. Okay, just pick up right where we were. You see computer code here because I've been working on some other stuff this morning without starting a new thread. Okay, so show me the pie chart you just created. Yeah, see, it's easier to see here. Okay, so in January, 15% of my expenses were in education, 14% doctor, 13% uncategorized. This points to a spot where I can improve my budgeting system. If I have too many uncategorized items, that means I should probably review the rules I have that assigns categories to items. Travel, pharmacy, insurance. Very good. Now, how about this, okay? Compare this January to last year. Now, how about this, okay? Compare this January to last year, to last January. Could do a pie chart of 2 years. That's not what I wanted it to do, but you tell it what you want to do. Ah, okay. Can't do a pie chart of this year, 2 years. Remarkably consistent, which is what you would expect for someone on a pension, fixed income. Okay, so this year I spent, this is euros, 2,004 euros. Last year I spent 2,108. Uh, I don't spend much money. This is remarkably consistent. Groceries. Why does this have the text automobile in this, which should be a number? Tennis. Spent a lot of money at the tennis club. Okay, let's see here. Now, I did not start off by giving this thing a beginning balance. So how can we do a cash flow analysis? Cash flow analysis shows how you got to this point in time. Okay, let's just tell it this here. Okay, you don't have a beginning balance. The ending balance you have, it's about, I'd have to go look exactly in my bank. It's about 12,000 euros, 12,500 euros. Now, so give me a cash flow analysis. How I got to uh, here at the end of January. I'm actually here on February 11th, but I haven't uploaded any data into my budgeting system from that bank since the end of January. In 2026 from last year. Let's see what it can do. So it needs to calculate the beginning balance given the transactions and given that I want to go back in a year. So you ended January at 12,500 euros. And from January 25 through January 26, your transactions net to about 5,629. So your implied starting balance would be 6,900. That's right. So it's taking transfers. It's marked as transfers because I take my money from the United States, transfer it to Wise in Belgium, transfer here to Alpha Bank Cyprus. So here we go. Interpreting that as a cash flow analysis. Let's see here. Now it's kind of recommending what to do next. Major buckets. Yes. Do what a financial analyst would do. Because I'm not so sure what a cash flow analysis would look like. Present it as a graphic or as a table, whatever you think. See what it does. Starting balance, transfers, deposit 26,935 euros, income, net out of this account. Not sure how it got that. We can ask it. Operating and personal, okay, these are my expenses, bank fees, ending balance. Okay, what do you mean by income? Okay, how did you calculate income? Is this transfers minus expenses? Is it because they have a negative number here? Took every row where category contains the word income. Okay, transfers are income because they are transferred from my USA bank. Upwork is a business expense paid to Upwork freelancing service. Got it. Okay. Income from transfers, spending, bank fees. So the net change is 5,600. So that's they're taking income minus spending, which still bridge uh starting balance of around 6,900 uh, euros to your ending balance of 12,500 euros. Okay. Um, here's grouped by cash outflow over the year. Tennis. It's difficult being a retiree. My largest and living with your mother. My largest expense is tennis. That's terrible. And then insurance. Okay, that's terrible. Why? Because I'm an American and I don't get government insurance here in Cyprus yet. Probably never. Entertainment. That's mainly Netflix and Apple TV and things like this. Business expense. Okay. Uh, can you make a chart? Make a bar chart? What is it called? Okay. With with what is it called? Oh, a stack bar chart. Make a stacked bar chart to show cash flow by month. Now, you do need to have some knowledge of finance to be able to use a finance tool, even if the computer's doing all the work. The stacked bar chart should show income on the top, expenses on the bottom, all in one column. You see what it's doing here? It's it's taking what I asked it to do and it's writing computer code in Python. And notice one thing that the first step that AI does, it takes what you asked it. And you might have spelled many words wrong and you might have left out key ideas. And it's then taking what you asked it and putting it into clear language with clear instructions to itself. So here we go. There we go. Monthly cash flow. Okay. I should have told it to remove decimal points. So here's income by a month. My income's that's kind of it. That's kind of what you can do here. You can also ask things like well, let me say here. Let me ask it for advice. What else could I ask you to gain insight into my spending and income over time? I'm not going to ask it, how might I save money? Because I have so little that I don't waste it on anything. Where's my money going structurally? Show average monthly spending by categories. Group my spending into high level buckets. How is my spending changing over time? Net cash position and burn. Identifying recurrent merchants and some of their annual cost. Yeah, okay, do that. So how much am I spending on these? These are monthly subscription fees. The New York Times, Guardian newspaper, the Telegraph, Zoom. I teach computer classes. Actually, I teach Ukrainian teenagers for free computer programming. Been doing that since 2022. Uh, the New York Times is kind of expensive, but every time I go to cancel it, they give me such a discount. They reduce it to like $1. So Spotify 90, Zoom, you can't reduce that. LinkedIn. I was looking for work for a while. Gave up on that. Here in Europe, they just work, but they want me to go live in Sweden. Apple wanted me to move to Sweden. Forget it. My working days are over. Too old to work with 20-year-old kids. Now, how could I have spent zero at The Guardian? That's interesting. Reuters, that's interesting. Because I pay Reuters, I think, €4 per month. But anyway, I hope that's useful. And you can do that with your own expenses. Now, if you got more than one account, credit cards and so forth, just load them all into here. It remembers this. Now, if we look here at history, I thought it was called, yeah, okay, look, see history. The thing about Perplexity and ChatGPT is they keep your conversation over time. Now, privacy person will say, "What are you talking about?" But this is your assistant, so it needs to know over time what issues you have. I mean, if you're having a long discussion with it, for example, if you got problems with your children or your spouse or concerns about your work, you mention this over time, and it's your therapist, it's your accountant, it's your business advisor. For me, it's my assistant in writing computer code. So it needs to keep this data over time. You can opt out of this kind of tracking, but why would you want to? Okay. See you in the next episode.